shape were the tablet? Yeah, what every doctor asks the kid when they show up in the ER. What shape were the tablet? Okay, let's make our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al kivrei Torah. Point in the pushka. Reach. Make a blessing on the T. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol miyavid baruch. Okay. Shavuos is coming up. Shavuos is when we received the Torah, when we became a nation and we received the Torah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the 10 tablets, the two or three tablets that came down the mountain. And they are, of course, a very central factor to us becoming a nation because our being a Jewish nation, as we've spoken at length in previous weeks, is 100% tied into the Torah. And so Hashem made us a nation and gave us the Torah. And of course, the first iteration of that was the Ten Commandments. In fact, the entire Torah can be found within these 10 Commandments. Rabbi Sadia Goin has a book in which he goes through all of the 613 mitzvahs and shows you how you can find them within the 10 Commandments. So the 10 Commandments, what? Oh, I don't remember which book it is. Sorry? It might be in there. I don't remember which book it's in, but it's in one of his books. He writes how every single one of the mitzvahs can be found in the Ten Commandments. So, of course, the Ten Commandments are very central to Yiddishkeit, they're very central to Judaism. Let me ask everyone here, what shape were the tablets?
That's an interesting question. We always thought they were.
Well, they're always shaped like this. So they could have been square. They could have been rectangular.
So when you look at a typical depiction, you have in the front page over here one of them says square and one of them is round. And when you think about a typical depiction of the two tablets, which one do you think of?
One on the left.
Yeah.
The image that we all grew up with.
Just to leave the nose.
No, they were like rectangular.
Rounded. Although actually, if you think about
it, they were.
If he was carving them on a mountain.
Yeah,
rectangular.
Shape.
Would have just taken a square.
Yeah, or rectangular.
Easier.
Okay, it would have been easier to make it just as a square. Okay.
God carved. Did you ever see a movie? There's another movie where
the most accurate source of information.
There's another movie where Mel Brooks is Moses and
I told that. Yeah. Perhaps one of the top of these 10 Commandments.
No.
Joan, what did you want to say? What's shape were they?
Rectangular, I thought.
And the top of it was also flat?
Rounded, I thought. Oh, I see. The tablet. Yeah, sort of roundish at the top, but rectangular-ish. Like diamonds.
Okay.
Kind of shapeless,
just directly hewn from the stone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be the subject of today's discussion. So let's open up and we have. Oh, by the way, how many tablets were there? There were really how many sets of tablets? Well, I guess you can cheat here. There were 2 sets of tablets. What happened to the first set of tablets?
He banged them down over the people.
Mom forgot where she put them. No, just kidding. He
People
he
watching
threw
the
them on the floor and smashed them. Exactly. In the story of the
Right.
golden calf, so Moses is coming down the mountain. He sees the Jews are serving the golden calf, so he smashes these tablets, and then he had to go make new ones. So there were two sets of tablets. Okay, so we learned about the ark, and let's look at source number one. Baruch, would you like to read for us two sets of tablets? Source number one. What goes inside the ark that Moses had just made?
You shall place into the ark the testimony which I will give you.
Okay, but what is the
Rashi says-
testimony?
The testimony, the Torah, which is the testimony between us that I have commanded you the mitzvahs written in it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's look at the Talmud in source number two. Mitch, would you like to read for us? Matcha David, would you like to read for us source number two?
Source number two, Talmud. Rabbi Yosef taught, this teaches us that the tablets and the shards of the shattered tablets were placed in the ark.
Okay, so we have so far what inside the ark?
The tablet, all the replacements and the shards of the original.
Right, we have the original tablets and we have the broken tablet. Source number three, Zalman, would you like to read for us what happens all the way at the end of, almost all the way at the end of Deuteronomy? Moses writes a Torah scroll. We spoke about this before, but read for us, please. Source number three together with Rashi's commentary.
When Moses finished writing the words of the Torah, the scroll, until the very completion, Moses commanded the Levites who carried the Ark of the Covenant, of God, saying, take this Torah scroll and place it alongside the Ark of the Covenant, the Lord your God, and it will be there as a witness.
Okay, so what does it mean that it's alongside the Ark of the Covenant?
Alongside the Ark of the Covenant, it was laid alongside the tablets inside the Ark.
Okay, so it was alongside the tablets inside the Ark. Alongside the tablets inside the Ark. Okay, Maimonides elaborates on this. You know what? Chaim, would you like to join us in here, or you want to listen from there? Okay. Maimonides elaborates on this. Chaim Lucas, source number four.
Moses wrote the entire Torah before his passing in his own hand. He gave a copy to each tribe, and one copy was placed in the ark as a testimony. As the verse states, take this Torah scroll and place it alongside the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, your God, and it will be there as a witness.
Okay. So, what was inside the Ark?
The two tablets, plus the full Torah scroll.
We have two tablets, we have a Torah scroll, and we have, unless you meant the two sets of tablets.
No. Mm,
What do we have? What do we have inside the Ark?
Two tablets,
Mm-hmm.
the pieces or whatever of the original.
The broken of the first tablet.
And the Torah.
And the Torah scroll. So there are three things, which is really five, because you have the two tablets and two tablets, right?
It'll be more than five, but you don't know how many pieces the other one was supposed to
We
be.
just had Mother's Day. Here's the guy, and he comes into a store. He wants to buy a gift for his mother-in-law. So he comes and he says, "Now, how much are these? Too expensive." He says, "What about that vase all the way on the top over there? It's all dusty, whatever. That one, how much is it?" And the guy says, "That one I could do for you $50." He says, "Okay, let's do it." And the guy's climbing up, and as he's climbing up, the thing falls and shatters. So the son-in-law says, "How much now?" He says, "I'll give it to you for free." He says, "Okay, yeah, just wrap it up for me, and I'll figure this out." So the son-in-law comes, he knocks on his mother-in-law's door, a bouquet of flowers and this big, beautiful box. And as he comes in, he trips on the threshold and and he falls down. Oy vey, the thing is broken. I'm so sorry. What are we gonna do? Anyway, she opens it up, and each piece was individually wrapped. Okay, yeah. Make sure you see the. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth in the mouth unless you're the one giving the gift. Okay. So that's what we have inside the ark. So here comes the question. We're gonna do some simple math over here. You guys ready for some simple math? A lot of you graduated from very calculated math. So over here we're gonna do some very simple math. I'll be back in just a second. I'm gonna grab I sent one more copy. I'm gonna see if it came out. Be right back.
How you feeling?
Oh, okay. Bill Cosby, right, what's a cubit?
Robert Williams. I put the Red Sea and he just went, you're good.
Okay. Oh, perfect timing. Chaim Goldstein, would you like to read for us source number 5 on page number, what page is it?
2.
Page number 2. So we're going to do some math over here. We're going to have to, as my teacher would say, you're going to have to haltkop. You're going to have to concentrate and pay attention.
Where would you like me to read?
Source number 5.
I.
Yeah.
They shall make an ark of Caria wood. 2.5 cubits is the length, a cubit and a half is the width, and a cubit and a half is the depth. You shall overlay it with pure gold. From the inside and from the outside you shall overlay it, and you shall make upon it a golden crown all around. I will arrange my meeting with you there, and I will speak with you from atop the ark cover from between the two
The cherubs.
cherubs that are upon the ark of the testimony. All that I will command you upon the children of Israel.
Thank you very much. So we know exactly how big and how small it was. Susie, do you have the text in front of you?
Yes.
Would you please read for us source number 6 from the Talmud, taking these verses and extrapolating from them how many handbreadth was each part over here?
The ark that Moses made was 2.5 cubits in length, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits in depth. These cubits were each comprised of 6 handbreadths.
Okay,
The
so before you
tablets-
get to the second half, 1 second, let's just do some math over here. You can cheat if you want because we have a picture. How, if you have 6 handbreadths to 1 cubit, how many handbreadths was the ark?
12,
15.
no.
So it was
Yeah,
15
yeah,
long,
bread.
because 2.5 times
Are you
6.
talking about, so you're talking about cubic feet?
Not cubic
said
feet
cubits
yet.
in
No,
length.
no. First, just the linear dimensions.
Okay.
How big was it?
That's 6, 7, 8, 9, so the 9 in length.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Well, 9 in
Right,
9 in width and
9
height.
in
Well, 12 in. So 15 in
15,
width.
2.5.
you said 9, right? Oh, that's
So
right,
it's 9
6.
up,
I'm
9
thinking
deep,
6, I'm thinking-
and
I was doing 6.
yeah, 15 by 9 by
Yeah.
9. Backwards. Okay. 15 by 9 by 9. Okay. So that is how big the ark was. Susie, please continue for us.
The tablets were 6 handbreadths in length and 6 handbreadths in width and 3 handbreadths deep, placed alongside the length of the ark.
Okay,
The
so one
tablet-
second. We have 6 by 6. Each one of them is going to be 6 by 6 and 3 handbreadths deep, which means that how much space does the full 2 tablets take up? Takes up, if we can maybe draw here, let me see if I have extra paper. We have over here, I'm just going to draw it and it's going to be however it's going to be. Okay, so we have 9 over here. We have 15 over here. And we have another 9 over here. Does everyone see my picture? Sorry, Susie. Okay. Then inside it, we have 12 by 3, right? So that'll come out to a third of the depth. And 12. 12. What is that? 4/5 in length? 12 of 15 is 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, 4/5. Okay, so we have 3, 6, and 6. And how tall were they? Oops. They were 9 high.
Oh, man, you got.
No.
How high were they?
Yeah. 6 in length and 6 in width.
What happened?
This way.
Is it 6 also this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.
No, 6.
So obviously they were square.
So they were square, each one was a square, but they were only 6 high, which means that they didn't take up the entire
No,
top.
they were 9 high.
No. They were cute. They were 6. They were 6 high, 6 wide, and 3 deep. That's right there.
Yeah,
So what's the problem?
no problem, nothing. I'm just trying to figure out the math. I said it was going to be simple math. So it takes up only 2/3 of the height of the ark. These tablets, right? Yes? Is that, because it's 6 by 6 and then 3 deep. Okay, so this is like kind of a bad depiction a little bit because I can't draw 3D. But basically, okay, so here we have our fancy picture, right? We have our ark in the outer box. Yeah, on my picture that I just drew over here. Does this make sense, Solomon? We have, what? We have 15 across, we have 9 by 9.
Why
Then,
don't you just figure out the bottom of
oh,
the
because I
arc?
like to draw.
The
Can you
cubic
see I'm an artist?
Yeah, the artist can make a great hammer. Figure out the cubic feet of the arc and the cubic feet of the tablet, and you subtract the tablet from the arc.
Okay, let's do it. How many cubic handbreadths are there if it's 9 by 9 by 15? Well, I lied. I said it was going to be simple math.
How long is a handbreadth?
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't-
There's a child's handbreadth and there's Shaquille O'Neal's handbreadth.
It's
There's a
fine.
difference.
Yes, but for our purposes.
For our
it doesn't-
purposes,
it
they're
doesn't
both
ma-
going to be the
It
same
doesn't
handbreadth.
matter. All you have to know is the numeric value. You don't have to know the actual.
Right, I just.
Okay, so how much
I
is
was
it?
just,
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So how much is it?
Okay, so the cubic feet of the arc is 1215.
You were much faster with your brain than we are with the calculator.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 5. We're gonna call it h squared because it's handbreadth squared. Now, the actual the tablets, the complete tablets, let's call them, were how big?
Or 6 by 6 by 3.
which is gonna be
108.
108. That doesn't take up all that much room in the ark, does it?
Doesn't look like, wait, the width,
Oh, 108 each, if it's 6 by 6 by 3, so we're gonna have to double that because there were 2 tablets. So that's gonna be 216. Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so that's where we're holding. I'm sorry, Susie, would you like to continue with the next part?
Which
Or you
part
could
now
put
do
it
you want?
Another way,
Which,
The tablets consumed.
the tablets consume 12 handbreadths along the length of the ark, leaving 3 free. Subtract 1 handbreadth, half of a handbreadth from either side for the walls of the ark, and that
Okay, we
leaves
didn't
us
take
with
that into consideration yet. We have the walls of the ark.
or to put it another way, you could fit 11.25 tablets inside the ark.
Okay. So we have the walls of the ark, so that takes up a lot of the square footage here. Because the walls of the ark were were a full handbreadth. Okay, sorry, so that leaves us. I'm sorry, Susie.
with 2 handbreadths. The Torah scroll was placed in the space. Now that we've covered the ark's length, let us look at the width. The tablet consumes 6 handbreadths, leaving 3 remaining. Subtract 1 handbreadth for the walls on either side, and that leaves 2 handbreadths, allowing the Torah to be placed inside and removed with ease, according to Rabbi Meir.
Okay. So we have a very confused rabbi over here. As a mathematician, I would make a great rabbi too. Okay. So we have what was that last part saying? No, 6 handbreadth. How did it take 6 handbreadths? Oh, because there were 6 handbreadths in width. Wait. Length. And width, I guess it's the height. Okay. The ark was 15 handbreadths in length.
I think definitely can't figure out.
You'll see. You'll see. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Don't worry. The ark was 15 handbreadths in length. The tablet's dimensions were 6 by 6 for each tablet. So doubling that takes up 12 handbreadths along the length, leaving us with 3 unaccounted for. When we said that the ark was 15 by 9, that was the outer dimensions. The ark was measured from the outside, but the walls were half an handbreadth thick. Thus, the remaining space was 2 handbreadths, and the Torah scroll was placed in there. Then when we talk about the width of it, the ark was 9 handbreadths wide, or deep, I guess we'll call it. Or wide, yeah, no, we call it width, right? 1 tefach was for the depth of the walls, which leaves 2 empty handbreadths. These are necessary for the scroll to be inserted and removed without damaging it. How? Oh, because we have 6 by 6 by 6, not 6 by 6 by 3, because we had 2 sets of tablets. So I guess he put them together as they would have been like Tetris. Okay, so the ark was 9 handbreadths deep, right? 9 handbreadths tall. 1 handbreadth was the thickness of the bottom. 3 were consumed by the tablets and 3 by the shards of the broken tablets, leaving 2 empty. Until this point, we've been discussing the opinion of Rabbi Meir. There are others' opinions, but we will end the Talmud's discussion here without presenting the other opinions as to the size and arrangement of the ark. The important thing that we learned was the size of the contents of the ark. And basically, what happens is as follows. Now with that introduction, let's look at section B on page number 6, the common mistake. There is a matter that religious Jews have been making a mistake about for generations already, to the point that it has become routine. Ironically, this mistake is made by Jewish institutions that promote Torah without compromise, and in the context of emphasizing the uniqueness of the Jewish people. In order to illustrate their guiding values, these institutions include on their letterhead a representation of the two tablets. In their illustrations, the tablets are straight on the bottom, but rounded on top in the shape of a semicircle. However, this shape is contrary to an explicit passage in the Talmud, in Tractate Bava Basra, as well as a number of passages in the Medrash. Tractate Bava Basra is one of the 7 tractates that are studied on all the yeshivas. The Talmud states there that the tablets were 6 by 6 handbreadth. The clear implication is they were square with straight angles. Moreover, the Talmud states that the tablets consumed the ark. The use of the word consumed seems strange. Are the tablets consuming the ark? What this means is that the tablets, which were 6 by 6 handbreadths, filled the entire space of the ark in which they were placed without leaving any void. This is why the Talmud uses the word consumed, because the tablets consumed all of the space, meaning the tablets must have been squared. So a study of the subject reveals the sages needed to do some mathematical acrobatics to account for every item and every inch. And that's why we had all of these passages describing why every inch is necessary, and even why we needed to have the extra space in order that you could take out the Torah without ripping it. This precision detail contradicts the popular depiction of the tablets with rounded tops, as my kids like to call them tuchas luchas. If they would have been rounded, the sages would have had to discuss that in our discussion. Because if the top of the tablets are rounded, then it's easier to get out the Torah scroll. In addition, there is no source anywhere in the teachings of our sages that implies that the tablets had rounded tops. Now, let's look at a medieval sage, Rabbeinu Bachaya, who came to the same conclusion as the Rebbe. Source number 7. Chaim Lucas, would you like to read for us? Source number 7 from Rabbeinu Bachaya.
Know that the tablets were square, 6 handbreadths in length and 6 in width, as the sages explained in the Talmud. The tablets were 6 in length and 6 in width, and 3 deep.
Okay, so what is the source of the mistake? If indeed there is no reason to assume from our sages that the tablets were rounded on top, and indeed there is a lot of room to discuss that they must have been exactly square, why then does the chaplains in the military wear rounded tablets? Why then do so many congregations and synagogues and institutions of higher learning and academics, including them a picture of luchas with rounded tops? And not only are they not rounded tops, it's very clear to see from them that they are not 6 by 6 even. They're very narrow, much taller than they are wide, right? If we look back at the first page, if you look at the typical depiction, forget about the rounded part. There's no way that that's a square 6 by 6 and 3 deep. Right? Okay. So how did that happen? There is a simple explanation for how Jews came to draw the tablets with round tops. Due to anti-Jewish regulations, Jewish books were handled by non-Jewish printers. They were also subject to censorship by the non-Jewish authorities, as you see in many places. The non-Jewish printers and the censors would draw an image of the tablets on the title page or in the beginning of the book to show that it was a Jewish book. And they would do so in the form that they were accustomed to, with round tops. The Jewish audience that purchased the books didn't care much for the title page and introductory material. They were focused on studying the concept of the book. As a result, they paid no attention to the fact that the tablets were represented with round rather than flat tops. And as the generations passed, this shape became the standard in Jewish books. In other words, whoever was running the printhouse decided to put that in, and nobody commented on it because they didn't care. And then their kids came, and what did the kids look at? The kids don't look at the inside of the book. They can barely read it, let alone understand it. But they see a picture. Oh, that must be what the two tablets look like. This is why I advocated behind the scenes, says the Rebbe, that a certain institution should change the way the tablets are represented on their letterhead so that they should not have rounded tops. At least the next time they print a new batch of letterheads, the image should be with flat top tablets as the Talmud teaches. So the Rebbe was actually, there are two things that the Rebbe was very, very strong with, which is the menorah, that the branches were not rounded. The branches were diagonal, straight lines. And the luchas over here, the two tablets also were not rounded on top, they were square. We'll discuss why shortly. Source number 8 from a letter of the Rebbe to Rabbi Kalman Kahan, who was a leader of a social and political movement in Israel. And David, would you like to read for us source number 8?
Source number 8. I would like to take this opportunity to raise with you what I have noticed on some of the publications of your party. Depictions of tablets with rounded tops. This shape is rooted in non-Jewish culture and contradicts the words of our sages, that they were 6 in length and 6 in width and 3 in depth. In our publications, especially those for children, we are precise in this regard.
So you'll see a picture over there on the bottom of the page of the title page of Talks and Tales. And the Talks and Tales, you'll see the two tablets are very clearly two squares. There's some great, sorry? I guess, like fun. In Simchas Torah in 1981, the Rebbe noted how important it is to teach children correctly. Let's look on page number 9. The role of a proper Jewish school is to protect the children from outside influences and to teach the children that all of their actions should be for the sake of heaven and to know God in all your ways. Yet, when they illustrate the tablets, which include the entire Torah, on official school stationery, they do so in a way that is contrary to the Talmud. As we have established, according to the Talmud, the tablets must have been square, not with round tops. This is clearly stated in Tractate Bava Basra, a tractate studied in all the yeshivas. There is a rabbi from Be'er Sheva, not a follower of Chabad, who recently published a book in which he demonstrates that based on the Talmud, the tablets must have been square without round tops. This author concludes by expressing his bewilderment with the common practice of drawing tablets with round tops, rather than following the specifications of the Talmud. Chaim Goldstein, would you like to read for us source number 9 by Rabbi Elio Katz, the chief rabbi of Slovakia, and later he made Aliyah, and he became the rabbi in Be'er Sheva, and in his book called Be'er Eliyahu, he says the following. Please read for us.
I must note that this concept is foreign to the Jewish tradition. The Christian and non-Jewish artists are the ones that depict the tablets with round tops. This shape is not only ideal, it's the best to avoid drawing it that way.
So he says, not only should you better draw them square than drawing them round, he says you should not draw them round at all. You should avoid drawing it that way. And over there, he actually brings from an old machzer from the Middle Ages, he writes in a letter, called the Lipsia Machzer, which was, he republished it actually. So in many of the old beautiful, have you ever seen like the old Haggadahs from Portugal and Spain, where they have these beautiful drawings inside, phenomenal works of art. So in one of these machzers for the high holidays, it contains the tablets as square, the old one, and I guess that must have been before the Christian depictions crept in. In his book, he writes, "Thank God there are several synagogues who have accepted my advice and done accordingly, and I bless them that their reward from heaven be twofold, like the two tablets God gave us." So it's important that we know our tradition, especially with something which we're using as the symbol of our tradition and the symbol of our faith. And we're going to be taking pictures of that from Christian sources. That's corrupting our Judaism in a horrible way. Continuing on page number 9, says the Rebbe educational importance. The argument made in defense of keeping the round top tablets is that changing them would appear to be a negative statement about our predecessors, who presided over institutions that used this representation for many years. This argument has no weight when discussing a matter of educational importance. Page number 10. Children receive certificates from their schools on which the tablets are illustrated with round tops, and this leads them to believe that such was indeed the shape of the tablets. Later, the child will study the Talmudic passage quoted earlier, and he will discover that the impression he had as a result of studying at his school is contrary to the Talmud. As a result, the child loses faith in his teachers and questions everything they taught him, even that which was correct. This issue must therefore be corrected. It should not be dismissed as insignificant. Firstly, even minor issues should not be dismissed, and in our case, we are discussing the tablets, which are the basis of our entire Torah. Whose version is better? There is an additional concern here, page 11. The source of the round-top representation of the tablets is non-Jewish and contrary to the Talmud. When one uses the round-top representation, they are effectively preferring the non-Jewish version over the Jewish version. Could you imagine? This matter should be rectified from now on. It does not require much effort because letterheads, etc., are anyways reprinted from time to time. And just like the name of the president of the institution can be changed, so too can the shape of the tablets, so that instead of round tops, the tablets will be square.
Although I got it, just from a purely artistic point of view. The round looks bigger square, there's nothing distinctive about square. It does
That's
look
why
kinda
the
like
Goyim
that.
went for it.
Huh?
That's why the Goyim went for it.
Yeah,
That was why they did it.
right, okay.
That's
Well,
why-
whatever their motive, I
Catholics
mean,
were very good at art.
Right. right,
Catholics were very good at art.
yeah,
Wow.
they
Art.
produce some pretty good artists.
Catholics are very good at art.
Oh, you know what's
Yeah,
interesting?
but they have no regard for Torah,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
and that's that's the mistake.
Who knows when was the first time that Jewish people were forced to wear a symbol of Judaism on their clothing to depict them as Jews?
For the what?
To depict them as Jews.
Well, it was in medieval.
No.
In other words, just because their motive to make it distinct may have been negative, doesn't mean that we have to adopt it as a negative.
Sorry?
Medieval time?
So,
Like,
in the
like Solomon
13th
says,
century in
they look good
England,
artists.
King Henry III issued an edict in 1218 saying, "We order that you have announced and observed in all your jurisdiction that all Jews, wherever they walk or ride, in or outside the town, should wear on their chest on their outer garments 2 emblems in the form of 2 white tablets made of linen, cloth, or parchment, rounded on the top." 1218. So not only did the rounded tablets originate from non-Jews, but the shape itself was even used in oppression of the Jewish people. So there we have it. The tablets were not round on the top, and when we draw 2 tablets, we should draw them also as square. Yeah, Shukar, thank you for joining us. Susie, for those who didn't yet see, an email hopefully will be going out today. But this Friday night and Shabbat, we are doing a very big Shabbat for a few reasons. Number one, this Shabbat is the Shabbat before Shavuos, which is traditionally known as Shabbos Achdus, the Shabbos of Unity. Why is it called the Shabbos of Unity? It was the only time all the Jews agreed on something. They all agreed that we're going to the foot of Mount Sinai and we're going to receive the Torah. And that was a beautiful Shabbos where everyone, could you imagine all the Jews together just looking forward to the same thing? So traditionally,
And that's why we say in Dayenu, that's why we say in
if he would have
Dayenu,
brought us to the foot of Mount Sinai, yeah, beautiful.
That was the first and last time we agreed on it.
That was the first and last time we agreed on anything. Also, this month is Jewish American Heritage Month, as well as its 250th birthday. So I'm seeing a lot of congregations and Chabads around America are making a big Shabbat 250 to make a Jewish American Shabbat. So Friday night we'll be having a Shabbat dinner, and Shabbat morning we'll be having services. Please join us at 6:30 on Friday night.
Did the president
And
also
10 a.m.
declare a special Shabbat this month?
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah,
from the president, a White House declaration. Okay. So it'll be nice. You guys coming? Chaim, you already told me you're coming. What about you, Chaim? You'll be there. Also Shabbos morning. Yeah. So Friday night, 6:30, Shabbos morning. Zalman. Okay, Friday night and Shabbos morning. Now, I'm looking for a few people who might like to say for 2 to 4 minutes on something of an ancient, whatever, not ancient, but someone, because it has to do with the American Jewish Heritage Month, is someone who was Jewish, in that era, who made an influence and an impact positive on Solomon Himes was one of them. Yes.
The financier.
Would you like to speak for 2 to 5 minutes about Solomon Haim?
Okay.
Chaim Solomon.
Chaim
No,
Solomon?
I think it was.
Chaim is then
Chaim
Chaim Solomon.
You would know because your name is Chaim. Chaim Solomon. Would you speak for a few minutes?
All right.
Okay. Anyone else want to speak about someone else of that era?
Maybe in the Revolutionary War.
I guess, yeah. Or shortly after that time, or even any not recent history, but like anyone who any Jew who made a significant impact on or a person of note, maybe even Joe Lieberman, the senator who kept Shabbat.
Just for having the revolution, different ethnic, we have their hero of the revolution. There's the Polish, the Germans and who drilled the Continental Army. And of course, the Jews have the financier. And ever since, most secretary treasurer, of the treasury have been Jews.
Okie dokie. Very good. So,
Hyman Roth.
who was Hyman Roth?
Not Hyman Roth. Arnold Roth.
Yeah, but not
He was Jewish.
Well, what did he do?
He was one of the founders of the Nazi. The early ones.
I'm not looking for those type of people. Okay, take care. Joe and Susie, I'm sorry I had to
How about
mute
that?
you. There was some background noise there, but we'd love to see you Friday night.
Lansky, who was a very, very good Jewish patriot. He went to that